And good evening and welcome back for Race 2, Round 12 of the Virtual Online Racers GT3 Cup here from the Sebring International Raceway. Cars are already taking the grid for Race 2, so without further ado, if you were with us for Race 1, this is Paul Schumann, part-time VOR driver, part-time commentator. And we had a cracker of a race to start the evening. And I certainly hope that the second race lives up to everything the first one had. So, there was last lap drama, there were battles for the championship, great close racing. Cars are about to go off on their warm-up lap. In case you're just joining us, basically, you have inverted field for race 2. All the people that finished race 1, in this case, the addition that John Tammy, who finished last of the cars running, did not wish to be inverted. He'll be starting 11th. So let's go through the race order. John Cook, who finished first in race 1, or finished 9th here in race 1, starting on the pole, leading them around the formation lap as we speak. In second place, we have Juan Amaya. The third, we have Garth Buchanan, who was running a good bit higher until he had some late race issues on race 1. He's going to start third. And then starting fourth, we have the first of our championship protagonists, Jake Witcher. Came into the race to the round tonight second. He ran as high as fourth in race 1. He did have some issues both in the start and then later on in the race. He did come back to finish 6th. Go further back, we have he's the second of the Faint Motion Motorsport cars, the first being Garth Buchanan and the third being Mike Bennett, who's starting right behind him in 5th position. And 6th, we have the pole sitter from race 1, Nick Woodbury. He's on pole by a third of a second from Norm Graff, and didn't get the best start, dropped back to third, spun the first time while battling for the lead, dropped all the way back to fourth. Then, through the combination of close racing at the front, some battles, and some late race drama, he found himself challenging JT Tammy, actually in the corner we're coming into now, Le Mans, leading onto the Ulman Straight. He looked like JT, who's said after the race his tires were atrocious, that he had some serious wear issues. And regardless of what happened, Nick unfortunately wound up in, well, not in the wall, but he lost a good number of positions. So, going further back, got Norm Graff starting 7th. He was the outside pole sitter, and he led much of the race before he had his own issues. He was side by side with JT Tammy for the lead in turn 1, and he wound up spinning. He actually finished third, came back to finish third in race 1. Then in 8th, we have Jason Quinn, most consistent and mistake-free runner of race 1. And he finished 2nd, and the winner was JT Tammy, who's starting 9th, who I believe, and there are drops and a bunch of other things that I quite frankly cannot keep track of, but I believe he's the points leader. We have Eugenio Perez 10th, and Nelson 11th, and they're off. A terrible start by Cook. And the leader is actually going to be Mike Bennett, from 5th on the grid to the lead, side by side with Amaya. Oh, and Bennett's in the wall. He goes across the track. He's not going to do anything, but unfortunately, he's going to drop all the way back to 11th. So, the leader is Juan Amaya. There looked like there was contact between Amaya and Bennett. Amaya leads from John Cook. Dick Woodbury all the way up to 3rd. He is a good starter. Jake Witcher, 4th. Jason Quinn, 5th. Norm Buchanan, 6th. Norm Graff, 6th. Garth Buchanan, 7th. Eugenio Perez, 8th. The second of your championship battlers, JT Tammy, 9th. John Tammy, 10th. And Bennett from 1st to last in the space of about 100 yards. And already we see Nick Woodbury ratcheting up the pressure on John Cook. He is going to be very anxious to get out in front and lead this thing. He's going to move up to second. The whole little contact there. Nothing too extreme. Oh, and there's contact! Oh, and Witcher is hard into the wall. A contact between Cook and Witcher. You have to go back and look at Jake's car. See how significant the damage is. He's kept going. Looks to be okay, but that was... It looked like he and John Cook just touched. And they both went into the wall. Looked like Jake went in harder. So meanwhile, that's 7th and 8th on track now. You have Jake Witcher 7th, JT Tammy 8th. Those are the two currently running championship lead. And Tammy is spun. Tammy spins coming onto the Almond Straight. So, already high drama at the start of race 2. And Jake Witcher is inside his teammate Buchanan. Thought better of going for the position. Meanwhile, Nick Woodbury, after one lap, is going to go through into the lead. Already has a lead of 9/10 of a second over Juan Amaya. And I expect Nick to rocket away, because you know the fact that he was unable to take that win is going to really linger in his mind. I think he's already run wide, though, so that's not going to help him stay in front. Right now he has an important buffer in Juan Amaya, who, while not being slow, is certainly not the fastest. So he's going to want him to rocket away as quickly as he can while Quinn... Oh, Quinn goes up the inside. That was a late move, but he managed to pull it off. Quinn came from a significant gap back, but he did pull off the move. So he is now second, and Graf is going to try to get around the out... No, not around the outside, but we'll shift back to this battle for the second for now. And just keeping an eye on our championship battle. Got Jake Witcher running around in 6th, who he definitely needs to outscore Tammy in race 2 to have a shot at the championship. And, of course, JT had a spin at the end of lap 1 coming onto the Almond Straight. He sits 9th. So the gap at the front is Woodbury to Jason Quinn, 1.5 seconds. Then a further 2.25 seconds, or sorry, 3/4 of a second back to Juan Amaya. Graf is going to want to get around him as quickly as possible. Junior Perez looks like he's going to take a peek inside of Graf. Does not do it, though. Final corner. Woodbury sets a fast lap of 2:03.5. But Perez responds with a 2:03.4. Perez with the fastest lap. I would expect Woodbury to go even faster. Meanwhile, JT Tammy, trying to storm back from his first lap incident, ran a 2:02.5. 9/10 faster than your leader on that lap. Just keeping an eye on that app. Woodbury inching away. His lead is now 2 seconds over Jason Quinn. Further second back to Amaya, who has what I would call a truly train behind him. Guys are probably a bit faster than him, but can't get the job done. Graf, though, is going to force the issue, and then Perez really forces the issue. And both Perez and Amaya are off. And and that was a very unsafe rejoin there by Juan Amaya. So that's Tammy up into 7th now, passing both of them. Looks like Perez is going to observe the gentleman's rule and give the position back, but that was, as many people can attest, I have no problem with an aggressive move, but it looked pretty simple there. It looked like Perez tried to follow Graf through and just turned him around. Meanwhile, let's go back up to the lead. Nick Woodbury onto the Almond Straight, continuing to pull away from Jason Quinn. Let's see how his trap speed is. So only 3 km per mile hour off, which is pretty good. Obviously, he's not running in any slipstream, so it's not wind aided. So I'd imagine he's probably about to set the fastest lap of the race, and he does it at 2:01.996. And Woodbury fast lap. His lead is 3.6 seconds. Meanwhile, Jake Witcher is up to 4th on the track, so 3 positions separating him from JT Tammy. But most importantly for Witcher, he has a buffer of 2 teammates in Garth Buchanan and Mike Bennett between him and JT Tammy. Of course, as I started to say before Tammy had his incident, in fact, Tammy was 3rd in the points coming into this race. Witcher was 2nd, but actually Sean Campbell, one of the other champion racing drivers, was a points leader, but he was unable to make this race. And Andrew Dickman, the other champion racing driver, was also unable to make it. And this definitely puts JT at a disadvantage, because as you can see, you've got Witcher just basically leading around a faint motion parade. So even if JT can claw that gap back, but I would imagine he can. He was the faster of certainly the 4 in qualifying, and he's definitely going to have the bit between his teeth, but he's going to have to get past both Bennett and Buchanan if he's going to get back to Witcher. So keeping an eye on both the battle for 2nd and the gap. And I really thought that Graf was going to pull in Jason Quinn, but he has not done that. If anything, Quinn is pulling further away. Meanwhile, Woodbury is also pulling further away from Quinn. By the time we get the line, I'd imagine the gap's going to be close to 4 seconds. I just want to apologize. Unfortunately, as you can see a bar indicating the frames per second, and also actually I don't know what that green bar indicates, but I told you guys before I was having some trouble. I noticed some flickering on the screen. So the good thing is I've got that to go away. You're just going to have to look at my frames per second, which I think is a fair trade-off. So sorry for the silence there. So as you can see, I've also played around with the overlay a bit. So we've got Woodbury, who leads by 4.7 seconds over Jason Quinn, further 9/10 back to Norm Graff. Actually, Jason pulled a little back from Nick in the middle sector there. Just looking further down the order. So the gap on track between the 2 championship contenders, Jake Witcher and JT Tammy, is 4 seconds currently. As I've said, I don't want to repeat myself too much, but I don't think you can overstate the importance of Jake Witcher having 2 teammates separating him from Tammy. Now, we're finally seeing Norm Graff catching up to Jason Quinn for 2nd. Just keeping an eye on that gap, and the gap between Witcher and Tammy now is 3.2 seconds, so JT took 8/10 out on that lap. So he is definitely getting closer to Witcher. For now, we're just going to watch this battle between Quinn and Graf for a second on the track. Meanwhile, change of position. Mike Bennett will go past Garth Buchanan. So, change of position in the Faint Motorsport Parade. But as you can see, they're side by side. Buchanan's actually got Bennett back. Meanwhile, this is perfect for JT Tammy, who is just going to get closer and closer as they fight with each other. Oh, Garth hanging the tail out there, and Bennett is just much faster as a result of that. He's going to have to go around the outside, though, and he will do that. Ooh. And really had to sweep across the track, but he managed to pull it off. So, as you can see, Tammy is now caught right up to the back of Garth Buchanan. And let's see how long it takes him to get past Garth. The last of the three on track of the Faint Motion cars. The first that JT is going to have to deal with. Meanwhile, the gap at the front, as you can see, 5.3 seconds between Nick Woodbury and Jason Quinn. Oh, Bennett looked like he got a little upset at the rear. Buchanan's going to go back past him, and they're going to have to watch themselves because Tammy is going to get one hell of a run as they come into turn one. So he's going to try to stick his nose up the inside of Buchanan. Here we see Eugenio Perez looming large in the back of the picture there. So JT is definitely going to dispose of these two cars as quickly as possible, as he does not want attention from Perez behind him. If we're going to see Tammy is very close. Third up the inside. No, he is not. Well, the battle for second has also gotten closer nose to tail with Quinn and Norm Graf. Buchanan and Bennett pass each other again. And JT Tammy is going to get past Bennett. So now he's just got Buchanan ahead of him. Oh, as Bennett runs very wide. He comes back in front of Perez. And JT thought about it going into Le Mans. Probably thought better of it. He was a little far back there. Back in the battle for second. At this point, Quinn is still holding Graf off. Meanwhile, Tammy is sizing Buchanan up for a move into the last corner. I don't think he's fit. Well, he's getting quite a run. I don't think he's far ahead enough. Big lockup. You see the wheel hop from Buchanan's car as JT's going to get a really good run. Across the line. Oh, I think that was closer than JT wanted to get to the wall there. He still gains on Garth. Is he going to try up the inside into turn two? He's, again, just not close enough. Just past the midway point in the race. 15 minutes remaining in the Porsche GT3 Cup season. Oh, what a big moment from Tammy. He's somehow managed to keep it pointed in the right direction. Meanwhile, Perez is going to get alongside enough. He's not going to try for the position there. I thought he had a good run, but did not try it. So that was an impressive save by JT to just keep it on the road there. I mean, the bonus of not losing any positions. So he's just going to have to crawl back that gap to Garth. Try to pass him for fifth. Just to minimize the damage really caused by some, not even bad driving, just some unlucky driving this race. Go back to the battle for second. Although he's been caught by Graf, just Graf does not seem to have enough to get past Quinn, who's now 6.5 seconds behind Woodbury in the lead. But this is where it's all happening right now, this battle for fifth, which is a four-way battle as Woodbury resets fastest lap of the race at 2:01.793. It's an excellent lap. I tell you, he's definitely not resting on his lead. I think he wants to make a point following what happened in race one. He has really clearly been the fastest since qualifying. I think he wants to really put his stamp on this race to end the season. Meanwhile, JT Tammy again pulling up on the back bumper of Garth Buchanan's Porsche. This is exactly the kind of rear gunner action that Jake Witcher needs, though. While they've been battling, the gap between Witcher and Tammy is out to 5 seconds. So if he is going to try to run Witcher down, Tammy is really going to have to just get past Buchanan and put the hammer down pretty much right away. He is getting closer again. Perez with a bit of a moment going onto the Ullman straight. Got her to back up. Meanwhile, Tammy is closer than he's been. He is going to throw it up the inside this time into Sunset. He's going to take the position. He also cuts off the move for the over-under. Buchanan's still going to try it, but he just doesn't have the speed. He's going to have to watch for Perez in his rearview mirror, actually. I don't think Perez is far enough. No, he is going to try it, but Buchanan's able to really shut the door on him. In fairness, I don't think the door was open there. Just keeping you apprised of the gap at the front. The lead is now 6.9 seconds, so certainly by the end of this lap it's going to be over 7. And the gap, as actually just a pass for second, Ref has gone past Jason Quinn, who has lost a significant amount of time. I wonder if he had an off back in the hairpin. So that elevates Norm Graf to second, some 7.7 seconds behind Nick Woodbury, and he may claw some of that gap back, but I don't know that he's going to be able to, because until what I believe was a mistake by Quinn, he really wasn't making any inroads on him. Just keeping an eye on that gap between Witcher and Tammy. The gap's already down to 4.7 seconds. So 10 minutes to go. Quinn pushing rather hard, coming back onto the Ullman straight. But still get the feeling we have not heard the last of JT Tammy. Focus our attention to this three-way battle for 6th. Buchanan, Perez, and Mike Bennett. So keep an eye on the gap between Witcher and Tammy, which at this point has not gotten any bigger, but certainly not getting smaller. So, barring a dramatic upturn in pace, I don't think JT Tammy's going to have a real chance to catch back up to Jake Witcher. Looking at the gap now, Witcher is actually pulling away ever so slightly from Tammy, so barring any late race shakeups, I think it's going to be 4th and 5th for the two championship battlers running tonight. So really it's all going to come down to the drops, which I have not referred to tonight. I'll be perfectly honest with you, really don't understand how they work. But I'm going to give it a go and try to figure it out. So, as I said at the beginning of the night, coming into the final round, leader is Sean Campbell, one of the other champion racing drivers, 394 points. So, you get 6 drops per season, effectively 3 rounds. And then you'll simply drop your lowest scores as you go through the round. So, for instance, Sean has missed 4 rounds. So he's already dropped 0 points scored. And his last 2 drops, were both 19 points. So just to give perspective, his gross total is 432 points. But his total, factoring in the drops, is 394. So, once you factor in the drop of 0, then you'll in fact see that, Sean is going to finish the season with 32 points. And this is where it gets a little more difficult for me, because now I honestly have to have a look at the points and how they're distributed. So, you keep an eye on the action, obviously, but in terms of championship implications, there's not a lot going on right now. Tammy and Witcher, the gap is stable at 5 seconds. So, for a win, you get 30 points. So, I'm just going to basically, for instance, we're going to do JT's drops. So, the lowest drop that JT has would be a 20-point drop. So, the difference would be, instead of having 499, adjusted to 385, he would replace that drop and add 10 points to his total. This is my understanding. I could be totally wrong. That would put him at 509 points. Again, could be wrong. No idea. So I think as they run, and just looking at Jake Witcher's drop as well, um, his drop, he's going to get rid of 2/19. So I think as they run, Tammy is going to be the champion. But I'm just saying this would be much easier for me without drops. I'm honestly not sure. And quite frankly, we're going to have to wait for the stewards to sort it out before we crown our champion, which is unfortunately, I'd like to do that tonight. And I'm going to try to get a word with both JT Tammy and Jake Witcher at the end of the race. Oh, watching the battle for 6th. Garth Buchanan is all over the back of Eugenio Perez's Porsche there. Looked like they weren't even in contact, but Buchanan was able to stop in time. So into the final 3 minutes of the season here, just really recording some of my thoughts on the season, in general. I've been present either streaming or driving for, I believe, 6 of the rounds. As I said in race 1, these cars do not suit my style, and at the end of the day, I like to be able to drive something I enjoy and relax a bit, and these cars just don't do that for me. However, as many of you may or may not know, VOR is at its core a multi-class series, as we look at Witcher trying to get around Jason Quinn for 3rd on the track. This could have some championship implications. Watch them go around. But really, I think, even though this is obviously a spec series, it has done wonders in terms of really reinvigorating interest in VOR as a league. Gotten a lot of new people, a lot of old people have come back. And whatever we end here, Witcher is going to try to make the move. It was well held by both of them. May have been a little late, but no harm, no foul as they come onto the back straight. Meanwhile, Nick Woodbury is going to come around. His lead is 10 seconds. He's going to come around and start the final lap of the Virtual Online Racers GT3 Championship. But whatever VOR does in terms of the next series, I just hope it's something that definitely capitalizes on the interest, and Witcher is going to be on the outside of Jason Quinn as they come into turn 1, and he's not going to want to give that up, because he's looking for 4th in the standings, and this is also for a podium. So for now, he's going to hold Witcher off. Witcher's going to try to switch back to turn 2. He manages to get up the inside. They're going to go side by side and come into Big Bend. Quinn might get a better exit here. I think his tires might also be used up, which would explain Jake catching up to him. Quinn doesn't try anything into the hairpin. So, realistic, you can see car really nervous as Quinn puts the power down. He's going to have to try to get close enough to take a run at Jake down into Sunset. That's your last passing opportunity. So, a big moment from Quinn. That was a good save as they come through Tower Turn. It's going to give Witcher, I think, the gap that he needs to come through and finish 3rd podium in the last race. Certainly won't help hurt his championship effort. Quinn's trying to get close enough, but I don't think he has the tires. Although he's going to take a run at him. He's pretty close. I don't think he's close enough. He may try the switchback. So you see Nick Woodbury is the winner of the final round of the Porsche GT3 Cup. I really would like to move that. That's a very obnoxious place for that notification to be. Normcraft finishes second. Witcher with a really good drive, despite some early issues, to come home and finish third. Jason Quinn fourth. JT Tammy, the other race 1 winner and championship protagonist, is going to come home fifth. Buchanan sixth. Bennett seventh. Eugenio Perez eighth. So on Jeremiah, unfortunately a victim of contact with Eugenio. It's going to finish ninth. John Cook missing a front end. He's going to come through and finish 10th. And then John Tammy currently making his way through Le Mans Corner and down the Ullman Straight. So really, a good race weekend here. Obviously, the higher drama, especially for the win, was in race 1. And being such a good starter, Woodbury, once he got to the lead, he was never going to give it up. And he really did well. So, John Tammy comes across the line to finish 11th. And just bear with me for a moment. I'm going to try to get a word with first our winner and then both Jake Witcher and Jason Quinn. So bear with me for just a moment.